Hey everybody. So I've had this channel for a few years now and I've never tried anything actually different with this channel. And then so this is the very first time that I'm going to try something different, different format. I'm going to talk about something different overall than I generally talk about on the channel. And the reasoning for this is very specifically that so I'm visiting outside of like my hometown right now, and then on my way up, I brought my laptop, and then my laptop fried, so I don't have a laptop with me at the moment. And I just bought a car on my way before coming up here, and then that's like part of the reason why I came up here. And then so I'm kind of like cash strapped over the weekend, so I can't replace my laptop until Monday. And then like so I missed my video yesterday, and then so here's my video today. I'm trying to put out a video here just so it's not going until Monday overall. And then but so I've had like a lot of time to think overall about a lot of things because I've like so for this entire weekend I'm essentially like I don't have like a ton of cash, right? So I can I'm in a touristy area, so I get to do some things, but I'm like mostly just hanging out with myself and like thinking about a lot of stuff, and it's interesting within that, and then that thinking like being in like the area where around at least the area where I grew up, and then like within that I've met and seen like a few people and then checked in on a few people as to like how they're doing and things like that, and then like thing I'll say like it's always a common thing that people say 100% that like anyone that goes from a like call it like a position of nothing until into a position of more material success has they burn bridges along the way within that, like, and that you have to like I think that's 100% true. Like I do like I think it's unavoidable, right? And then so from my pure perspective on that, like and just how I evaluate that equation overall, essentially the way that I look at it is like every single person that I've like interacted with and checked in with like has is on a either the same or kind of like a worse trajectory than like a few years ago. It's been years since I've been up here, right? But uh, it's I like for every single person that I've checked in with, like their uh, life has changed in like some very small ways, but not in a lot of ways. And I think that's great for most people, right? I don't choose to knock that on any level. Uh, there is tremendous value in that, and then people that value that uh, value better things than me overall. I would put that in simplistic terms. I think that's a better and simpler life overall, right? So I don't want to like knock it in any way whatsoever, but like it's not the trajectory for me, right? And I've always known that, like, oh, like, and felt that, and then within that trajectory, and if you're on that trajectory, and if you've been on that trajectory, and if you've lived that trajectory, it becomes inherently like different whether or not you want it to be or not. I can give you like very like so. Here's my reasoning and my thinking within that, right? And what leads me specifically to that and to this, like, which is that so just in the last month, this is the last month of my life, right? I have been to Las Vegas, San Diego, Long Beach. I'm now here in like visiting like my hometown area. From here, I might like there's a good probability that I'll be going to New Orleans. Like, so that's just the last month, right? Right? And then you interact with people, and then it's just a different. You have different lifestyle interactions, different experiences that like just some people don't have, right? And then that starts to just become different. Like it's like some people like they get like jealous, they don't like that overall, and it's hard, like even if they don't get jealous overall, right? Like and if they like it, then it's like uh it becomes less and less relatable on a day-to-day basis is like the most simplistic way to break that down. Like I wish it weren't true. I wish beyond anything that weren't a true part of that equation, right? Like but it is like, and it just is, and there is no way or anything that I've found to like change or like cut through that particular part of the equation. Like I understand how it kind of works out on that level, like a lot better overall. You know, like I'm just giving my general thoughts on uh, this particular subject overall. Right? I think it's a subject that like it's like a lot of people give surface level advice around these things, and then it's like you know, like I got lucky. Like, well, that's the most common like type of advice that you generally hear uh, from people overall, right? And like I think that's uh, getting lucky is I got lucky, and like I've been lucky my whole life, right? Like, and like there's some people that they would say that I'm unlucky. I like, and then like to me it's it depends on the situation overall, right? And then like luck is what you make of it, and then putting yourself out there. Like I have found that like uh, in my life in general, like I tend to be like how I found that this just works out in general for me is that uh, if I'm like dishonest or I lie about something, like in those areas, like in that field, like I'm the least lucky person on the planet. Like if I'm dishonest about something, then like it's gonna get found out. Whatever it is, and then whoever I would be dishonest with, that person would find out. And then that's just been like the whole entire experience around that my entire life, right? And like there's been people that have like commented on it and pointed it out like without like uh, any sort of prompting whatsoever. Like you're an unlucky person, right? Because of and then it's like, well, like uh, yeah, I'm unlucky when it comes to that, like for sure. And then like I'm unlucky. I'm unluckier in seemingly than the average person when it comes to those behaviors and things, which is why I actively avoid those behaviors and things, right? I don't want to be in an unlucky capacity. Like it's part of it, right? But like I am very lucky in other areas and other aspects overall, like luckier than a lot of people or most people. I recognize that. Um, and then so, I mean, again, it's just whatever your perspective is and how you look at that, right? And then so I guess going back to the advice and the general surface level advice, if I were to give actual concrete advice within this video beyond that surface level advice there, I guess the biggest thing that I would see, like what I have, like my general observation when it comes to these things, what I have generally observed is that people tend to get stuck in, I'll call it like a local maxima, just like I mean, so if you were like working with like swarm algorithms and playing around with like AI, things like that, I like to me it's a direct correlation. Like I can see it's a direct pattern there, right, between essentially like how swarm algorithms work and then the like when we're talking about humanity, talking about it like as a general like algorithm, like a overall, it operates the same way to me, which is essentially that both swarm algorithms and humanity as an algorithm are very prone to getting stuck in local maximas, right? And local maximums are very easy, because it's like, so a local maximum for a humanity perspective would be an individual that is, my life is stable, I have a stable career, I'm not happy with it, I don't make enough, but I'm stable in it, I have a stable relationship, I'm not happy in it, but I make enough. All across the board, it's just all, like, anything about any aspect of their life, that's how they would answer, is that it's, there's definitive things that they would change, but that they're like, the status quo is good enough, right? And then it's like, 75 to 80% local maximum, like they're cool in that 75 to 80% range, just like swarm algorithms, right? Like they don't, like, it's uh just seems to be kind of part of the programming within that overall. And then, but so I think for people overall, it becomes hard to break out of from that, and it's uh, for, again, for the same reasons that it's hard for the swarm algorithms to break out of that, right? Which is that once you have like an established level of predictability and understanding of that local maximum, the potentiality for like a worse outcome becomes higher and higher, right? Like if you're in that 75 to 80% range, like there's a potential that you could go down to a lower percent range than 85 to 75%, 75 to 80%, right? Which would be a bad outcome overall. And then so that starts to weigh, and then like that essentially kind of overrides the thinking. And then especially with humans overall, like we're like hardwired to uh, make that choice overall. It's a survival choice overall in order to do that, right? And then so in order to like get past that local minima, you're literally having to like rewire your hard wiring when it comes to survival mechanisms inside of your brain to like process past that, right? And I don't think that uh, most people are willing to take that step. And then the secondary thing that I will say within that is that like at any point in my life where I've like been successful or been able to succeed, it's been and where I've had literally like no like no, like all safety nets gone. Like is the most simplistic and bottom line way to put that, right? Like I would say that, like, I mean, I think for me personally, the very first time that I would say and put measurement to my life as far as successfulness would be after my daughter was born. And then uh, for me, that was a big pivotal moment and turning point, right? Because like kind of before that, like I had like I like kind of blew through my 20s, and then my 30s, like I just like was I early 30s, I was still trying to find myself in like who I was. You know, I don't know who am I, and then like then I found then I didn't really have a choice within that, and then I realized I didn't want I had kind of like these internal thoughts and like visions of like uh, my unknown child at that point, like what would they be like, but them like going to being in like a elementary school, and then like show and tell, and it's like your parent like type of show and tell, and it's like, you know, what does your dad do? And it's like, God, my dad doesn't do anything. And it's like I don't, you know, I didn't want that overall. And then so that, I mean, that was a huge fire. Right, there's no safety net behind that whatsoever, and it's just kind of like how it goes. And then the like second time and moment was like I've been and had like an entrepreneurial spirit and wanted to be an entrepreneur like my entire life, like ever since I was a kid, right? Like my very first business I started when I was like 18, Super Duper Pooper Scoopers, and then you know, so it's, you know, like and in that time and during that period and since and from them, I've launched every type of business imaginable that you can possibly think of, right? Like at the end of the day, I like business, right? I have a deep interest in it, and it fascinates me in a lot of ways, and I like it can hold my interest for long periods of times as opposed to like a lot of subjects overall. And then so it's interesting to me uh, to learn about overall on that level, and to dive into. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't overall, if I didn't have kind of like a passion to dive into it on those levels, which I think is like another necessary kind of component within going kind of that like deeper level and like deeper layer discussion as to like what I think people generally leave out of discussions like this. And then like I think the last thing that I think of overall within that subject, in this particular subject, is that like a lot of people, they measure people uh, depending on where they are in the moment, right? And a lot of people, it's easy to measure yourself where you are in the moment. Uh, and like as someone that has like seen very low lows and very high highs, it's um, you find out very quickly like the actual like what people actually think and what they actually value when you're at those different aspects in those different areas. And then like I wouldn't change that knowledge for and understanding for anything at all in the world. um, and then I think the very last point on this that I think that kind of drives people within this, and going back to that kind of swarm algorithm, is it's just that myopicness of that mindset overall, right? The myopicness of the current situation. If you're in a situation, it's easy to narrow and focus in on that situation, and then hard to like broaden your outlook overall, right? But I think that's the key aspect of general success overall, when it comes to success overall. And then so here's this particular video. I'm not sure exactly yet what I'm going to title this video, but it's going to be related to exactly what I've been talking about here, which is essentially just success overall, which is, and if this is again a completely different video as far as format and content than I generally produce, but if that's some content, please like, subscribe. Thank you very much.